Okay, welcome back to another Inktober video, and as promised, this one will be a little longer, and I'll discuss some of the insights and inking approaches that I take. But first, here's one that I didn't film from yesterday, Open, where this little penguin guy is trying to open a Microsoft Word, and it's giving him a lot of troubles. But anyway, for today's video, it's going to be Leak, Day 23. And I'm starting off with showing the 5 or 6 pens that I've been using for the entire month here. Bic pen, a Sharpie. It's like a cheap knockoff of a Micron point .3, and then a Micron point .8, and a Copic marker, and a white gel pen for going over darker areas. They're not all used, but these are the pens that I've been using the entire month. Now, starting off with the Bic pen, these are excellent tools for sketching if you're just going to use ink, because the values really matter on how much pressure you put down. You can complete a finished illustration with just a Bic pen, or you can just leave these simple sketching gestures. And I think it's really nice because you're not really committed to what you lay down with the first couple of marks with a Bic pen. What I think is funny is that when I was trying to approach Leak, I couldn't really think of anything else but that epic first moment in Pirates of the Caribbean when Jack Sparrow is rolling into the dock on a completely submerged, sunken ship, and he still rolls in like a boss with no lack of confidence. It's just a hilarious scene. But yeah, I decided to do that one for Leak, and it's kind of an ambitious little scene to draw in the 5 inches that I've allowed myself. So with this particular scene, it's going to be a lot of gestures that look like it, but it's not going to be very detailed or very accurate. Just not enough space. If you want to do a fully detailed, like landscape style drawing with a character in it, definitely recommend going a little larger than this. But with these Inktober drawings, I try not to spend a ton of time on them. They're just practice, and geez, you got to draw every single day, which is quite the commitment. So now that I've laid in my sketch with my Bic pen, I can go over with the Micron style pens, get a little bit darker, get a little bit more defined and committed with my lines. I like to start with an outline, especially this particular drawing. I know the character is going to be entirely in shadow, so I just want to start off with an outline that makes sense, an outline that looks like the character, and I'm going to fill it in with black. The good thing about these Micron pens too, and you'll notice with a lot of my sketches, is most of the shadows that I don't do solid black, I do with cross hatching. You can see that there in the flag and these details along his torso and his hair. It's just going to be crosshatch lines and just the very indication, the very hint of the clothes or the overlap of the boots on the leg. But like I said, most of it's going to be in shadow. Another thing with this scene is the ship that he's riding in on has a lot of ropes and a lot of other things going on with it. So I want to make these indications on the mast of where the ropes might tie down to. But then, as you see in the middle of the mast, most of it's just going to be these kind of scratched out lines. When it's done, it's going to look exactly like it's supposed to look, with kind of a mast and a shadow and a bundle of ropes around it. And this is a good lesson to learn, where you don't have to draw every single line. You just have to draw indications of lines. And like I mentioned earlier, this is going to make a lot more sense if the illustration was larger to start off with, but this is fine for a little Inktober sketch. Here I go with the Sharpie to go through all the heavy dark areas, but this character is so small, the Sharpie is a little bit overwhelming, so I'm taking the 0.8 micron and doing a lot of these darker areas too. 0.8 gives a really nice thick line that you want to use for outlines and such. The 0.3 is a lot better for cross-hatching and getting your details in. I didn't really have enough space to do the detail for the face, so it's just kind of a bunch of shadows overlaid there, and you can tell what's going on there. It's a character. He's sitting on top of a mast that's sinking, and he's stepping onto the dock. For the dock, it's going to be in real heavy shadow too, so I'm just starting off with a Sharpie and knocking out these big areas. And then I'm going to take the micron pen and go through and add the rest of the details so you can tell that it's like these beams, which are also going to be in shadow. So I take a few lines and kind of eliminate some of the white area there. The rest of the dock wasn't really in my reference photo. I'm just trying to remember what a dock looks like. So I'm doing all these indications of lines and shadows and texture of wood. For the top of it, it's just going to be the Sharpie and going crazy with the Sharpie. Eventually, sometimes you'll just black out the entire area after you've made enough marks and you keep making mistakes, but that's okay. That's what this Inktober thing is all about. It's practice and getting the feel for using ink only and being very committed with your lines. So now I got to try and figure out the rest of this mast area. And what I was saying earlier about how I'm not drawing every single stick, every single rope. I'm just blotching out a big black area where I know there's shadow and I know there's a lot of ropes tied together and fabric and sails and whatever else there is. But just these scribbles around the shadow area give a real impression of what's actually there. And then a few more little shadow areas on the flag to give it a little bit of a three-dimensional look. And by shadow areas, I just mean little hatching lines. But it still looks unfinished, so I need to figure out how to add a background to give him a sense of placement in this world. The horizon line on the back shows where the ocean horizon is, and just with some scribbles, I'm trying to add these little guys on canoes in the background. Just an impression of what they might look like. But now I need to try and figure out how to make the water itself. And as the waves are closer to you, they're just these triangular looking shapes with the big pen. And as they get further towards the horizon, they're more horizontal and straight looking because you can't see the detail as much. But I think this is another good use of the big pen to just try and give these little shadows and little triangular wave shapes without really overwhelming. The big pen is not as stark as the others. But this is it. It looks good. This is day 23 leak. And I hope you're enjoying this Inktober journey so far. And I'll see you back for the next one. Bye.